Greetings fellow ukuleleans, Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new tutorial. Today I'd like to talk about two picking patterns, continuing our discussion of how to practice ukulele and specifically how to practice finger picking or fingerstyle ukulele if you prefer. And that particular one I was playing, I just made up that little chord progression just minutes ago. I'll show it to you, but it's just two chords. And I have some other chord progressions to suggest too. But that was called the outside-in finger-picking pattern. And then there's another one I'll show you today. I'll squeeze that in too, called the inside-out. And then next time we'll talk about Travis picking. But basically, inside-out is going to be where you pick your C and E strings, thumb and index. And then your outside strings, your G and A strings, thumb and middle. So that would be thumb, index, thumb, middle. C, E, G, A. C, E, G, A. The one I was doing at the beginning was the outside in, and that's the opposite. So you pick the two outside strings, the G and the A, with your thumb and middle. Then you pick the C and E with your thumb and index. The exact opposite. Outside in as opposed to inside out. I was playing the outside in the intro there. So let me show you that on the particular two chords I was playing. I played a G chord. And then I discovered this chord that I liked and I decided to use it. It is called F add 4. F add 4. Why is it F add 4? Well, there's a million different reasons. There's all kinds of music theory. But basically, this is an F chord, but it contains its third. It contains an A note, but it also contains a B flat note, its fourth note. So it's not a sus4, it's an add 4. But we won't get bogged down in music theory today. Just trust me, this is an F add 4. So there you go. Two chords that go together really nicely. And I picked them like this. I did the G string, the A string, the C string, the E string. I did that twice per chord. Now I did that fancy F chord with the same picking pattern, G string, A string, C string, E string, to get this result. Kind of a cool little thing. Maybe I'll make a song out of that at some point. But that's an unusual chord progression, maybe one you haven't done before. And I'm always on the lookout for those. I'm always looking for non-typical chord progressions. But if you're, for any reason, uncomfortable with that sort of thing, if you're a beginner, you're just learning your first chords, you could change that to F. You could just do G to F. It would be okay. The reason I don't like that personally is it does this doubling. When you play an F chord, you've got an A note up top here on the G string. You've also got an A note down below here on your open A string, and that's a doubling of the same note. It's kind of redundant. You don't need two A's. So by changing it to a sus4 or an add 4, that A, it eliminates the doubling, and B, gives you a way cool chord. Love that chord, especially after G. There's a song right there. I offer to you that chord progression. If you want to write a song with it, feel free. And if you record it, make a little link down below in the comment section and show me the song that you wrote with using those two chords and maybe some other chords. And I'm going to put that one in my drawer of ideas, and maybe I'll pull that out someday and say, ooh, I like those two chords. I'm going to write a song with those. We'll see what happens. So, but it's all yours if you want to beat me to it and win a Grammy first before I do. All right, so that is the outside-in chord progression, and not really chord progression, but picking pattern. And then the inside-out, let's talk about that a little bit. It's very banjo-like. It's something that is very reminiscent of a banjo roll. Let's do it on a C chord. So you got inside, which is C and E, outside, which is G and A. And again, finger-wise, on your right hand, thumb, index, thumb, middle. Let's practice that real slow. Let's do what we've talked about in other videos as far as good practice habits. and play slowly and master something. Don't go faster than you really can. So let's go nice and slow together on that. Let's pretend those are eighth notes so that it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and here's your count for a C chord picked inside out. 1, 2, 3, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If that's too fast, let's turn them into quarter notes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inside out. All right, so you might wonder, well, other than the obvious physical location of these strings, why they're called inside out and outside in, there's another reason, and it's historical. Folk guitar players from back in the late 50s and all the way through the 60s, people into acoustic music, folk. There was this huge folk boom in the late 50s, early 60s, around the time when you had Dylan come in and Joan Baez, and even before them the Weavers and Pete Seeger and people like that. All kinds of great folk music back then. Dave Van Ronk. It was a cool scene, especially located around Greenwich Village. A little bit in Harvard Square in Cambridge, Mass, though, too. And so inside out and outside in became known through the folk scene. Those were the kind of picking patterns guitar players and sometimes banjo players did. So I'm just applying those kind of folk names to the ukulele. So if you're wondering where I get this stuff, it's from folk music, basically. And you'll even see these in some method books from back then on how to fingerpick folk guitar. All right, ukuleleans, I hope you enjoyed that. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. Click that notify bell and click that link down below that I am going to use to allow you free access to all kinds of tabs for this. So you'll have all kinds of exercises, chord progressions, picking patterns, free of charge. It's on the house. All right, ukuleleans, you take care. Bye-bye.